Homelander. Homelander from The Boys shows the nightmare scenario of giving divine power to a child raised in a cage. He isn't a hero who went bad. He was engineered by Vought using Soldier Boy's genetics and grown in a lab. From the moment he lasered his birth mother in half, his life was defined by sterility and trauma. He had no family, no nurture, only scientists, constant surveillance, and systematic abuse designed to weaponize his insecurity. Vought manufactured his belief that he was a god deserving of universal adoration. This need for external validation replaced love. Homelander desperately craves affection, but is utterly incapable of authentic connection, treating praise like essential oxygen. The tragedy peaks with Soldier Boy. Finding his biological father offers a moment of fragile hope, only for Soldier Boy to reject him as a weak disappointment, extinguishing any chance Homelander had left at being a real human being. Rick Sanchez. Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty is proof that boundless genius cannot fix a broken soul. Rick is a brilliant mind and an emotional catastrophe. His central trauma is canonical. His wife and daughter, Diane and Beth, were killed by Rick Prime, a version of himself. This profound existential loss became the engine for his destructive nihilism and his addiction to multidimensional chaos. He aggressively rejects every concept of meaning, morality, consequence, and love, using mockery as a shield for his desperation. His codependent bond with Morty is a controlled disaster. Rick manipulates and exploits Morty, pretending he's disposable, yet when Morty establishes independence, Rick collapses. Rick's tragedy is that he needs Morty not for his intelligence, but because Morty is the last flawed anchor holding the genius to any semblance of humanity. Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker from Star Wars is the quintessential tragic figure, a hero undone by his own love. His life, starting in slavery and transitioning to the restrictive Jedi Order, was driven by one overriding flaw: an intense fear of loss. His forbidden love for Padme Amidala amplified this fear, especially after his visions of her death. This emotional vulnerability was perfectly exploited by Emperor Palpatine, who groomed Anakin for years, promising him the power to save Padme. The choice that shatters the universe. Anakin intervenes to save Palpatine from Mace Windu, prioritizing his personal fear over the entire Jedi Code. His transformation into Vader culminates with his dismemberment on Mustafar. When Palpatine falsely tells him Padme is dead, the very future he betrayed the galaxy to save is ripped away. Only decades later, through his son Luke, does the lost man beneath the armor find the strength for a final redeeming act of sacrifice. Erik Killmonger Stevens. Erik Stevens, or Killmonger from Black Panther, is an antagonist whose cruelty stems from legitimate systemic abandonment. After his father, Prince Njobu, was killed, Erik was left in Oakland, witnessing poverty and injustice while his ancestral home, Wakanda, hid its vast resources. Killmonger's tragedy is that his exceptional capability, his military expertise and strategic genius, was forged in the furnace of this rage. His goal, to seize Wakanda's technology to arm oppressed people globally, was rooted in justice, but his methods were devastatingly extreme. His final, heart-wrenching choice to embrace death over the hypocrisy of imprisonment serves as a painful indictment of Wakanda's isolationism. Reverse Flash / eobard thawne. Eobard thawne, the Reverse Flash, is a cosmic tragedy defined by obsessive self-hatred. Thawne began as a future Barry Allen superfan who attempted to become the Flash. After failing, he discovered he was destined to be his hero's greatest enemy. This realization twisted his fandom into a venomous, eternal jealousy. His existence became a constant loop of seeking revenge, most infamously killing Barry's mother. Thawne is tragically bound to the man he despises. His very identity depends on Barry Allen existing. He is doomed to relive endless timeline iterations and resets, permanently trapped in the role of the antagonist, unable to escape the shadow of the hero he both worshipped and hated. Severus Snape. Severus Snape from the Harry Potter series is the ultimate tragic anti-hero, defined by an unyielding, hidden devotion. His tragedy began with a profound love for Lily Evans, a love he ruined through his own insecurity and dark choices, driving her away. Snape's subsequent life was an act of agonizing, silent penance. Upon realizing his allegiance led to Lily's death, he vowed to protect her son, Harry Potter. He endured years of hatred and mistrust, acting as a double agent for Dumbledore and even committing the devastating act of murder, all while keeping his true motive secret. His final moments, where he reveals that his Patronus was always the Silver Doe, are a devastating testament to the self-inflicted misery and profound, secret loyalty that defined his existence. Django. Django from Django Unchained is a figure whose tragedy is rooted in the brutal, historical reality of slavery. Introduced as a chained, branded slave, his fundamental drive is the purely human desire to reunite with his wife, Broomhilda von Schaft. His journey is one of violent, necessary transformation. He partners with the bounty hunter Dr. King Schultz, learning to be a free man and a killer in equal measure. Schultz's own moral code eventually clashes with the tyrannical system, leading to his tragic death and a final, desperate burst of vengeance from Django. Django's victory is deeply tragic. To secure his freedom and his love, he is forced to embody the relentless violence of the system that caged him, burning down the entire plantation to be truly free. Wade Wilson/Deadpool. Comedy and fourth wall-breaking antics of Deadpool are a mask over a core of profound, enduring tragedy. Wade Wilson's ultimate disaster began when he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. To spare his lover Vanessa the pain of his death, he abandoned her. His supposed cure was a brutal failure. The process left him horribly disfigured, cursed with an accelerated healing factor, and psychologically unstable. Deadpool's non-stop humor is a frantic, painful defense mechanism against the trauma of his monstrous immortality. His deepest tragedy is not pain, but the inability to die, meaning he is doomed to watch everyone he loves eventually pass away while he remains trapped in a body he hates. Jason Todd/Red Hood. Jason Todd, the second Robin, is defined by the ultimate betrayal of his mentor's moral code. As a troubled street kid, he was rescued by Batman, only to be captured, tortured, and brutally murdered by the Joker. When Jason is resurrected, he returns darker, angrier, and driven by a need for lethal justice as the Red Hood. His pain stems from one conviction: Batman's refusal to kill the Joker, the man who murdered him, was a betrayal. Jason feels his mentor valued his moral code over saving his son, leaving him to die. His entire tragic existence as the Red Hood is a relentless, failed attempt to prove to the man he looked up to that a harsher form of justice was the only way to save Gotham. Diavolo. Diavolo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is the paranoid, ruthless boss of the Passione Mafia, whose tragedy is rooted in his fractured psyche. Diavolo suffers from dissociative identity disorder, sharing his body with the innocent doppio. His paranoia is existential. He believes the past is a relentless threat that must be erased. His ultimate goal is absolute secrecy, using his stand, King Crimson, to erase time and make himself untouchable. But his past, embodied by his daughter Trish Una, eventually catches up. Giorno Giovanna defeats him using Gold Experience Requiem, a stand that traps him in an eternal, inescapable loop, where he experiences death repeatedly, forever. The man who feared being known is doomed to an endless series of excruciating public endings. Arthur Morgan. Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption. 2 is a quietly devastating figure defined by the collapse of his chosen family. He found purpose under Dutch van der Linde and the van der Linde gang, living by a false ideal of freedom. As Dutch descended into paranoia, fueled by the manipulative Micah Bell, Arthur watched the man he considered his father destroy the family. The turning point is tuberculosis. Facing a slow, agonizing death, Arthur finally finds redemption. His physical decline catalyzes his moral awakening. He uses his final, painful days to protect John Marston and ensure the remnants of the gang have a chance at a future he won't see. In his final moments, Arthur crawls to a ridge to watch the sun rise one last time, sacrificing his chance at escape so others may live free. And that concludes our heartbreaking look at the most tragic figures in fiction. Every character on this list, from Homelander's desperate craving for validation to Anakin Skywalker's fear-driven fall, shows us that the deepest wounds are often inflicted not by enemies, but by the circumstances and betrayals of the people they trusted. But this is just our selection. Which character do you believe endured the most profound tragedy? And is there anyone we missed who deserves a spot on this list? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.